What's going on, everybody? It's Nick Kosko with On3, and of course, Rutgers wrestling on Big Ten Plus. An interesting weekend coming up for the Scarlet Knights on Saturday and Sunday, but we're going to take a look at their Saturday matchup on the road at Penn. The number 20 ranked Quakers from the Ivy League, just 0-1 in the dual meet season, only losing to Iowa. But this is a very, very intriguing match on paper. I'll be on the call on ESPN Plus with Penn's Joe Torti, of course. So the two of us on ESPN Plus, 7 o'clock on Saturday evening. And of course, Rutgers will rebound quickly, I should say, on Sunday as well, 2 o'clock, Big Ten Plus, back home in Piscataway. I'll be on the call, Big Ten Plus, with Matt Howe as usual as well. But of course, we're going to get into what I like this weekend, which is this Big Ten Ivy League matchup. I'm very fascinated to see what this is going to bring up on paper. At least on paper, there's a bunch of ranked matchups, and just going down the list, of course, it always starts at 125. Dean Peterson for the Scarlet Knights, recently now number 2 overall in the Intermat rankings at 125. Max Gallagher, number 33 for Penn. And again, these are projected matchups based on who's going to be available. I would imagine both of these squads, Rutgers and Penn, will try to go full throttle in this duel. It's going to be hotly contested, evenly matched throughout the entire lineup. But Rutgers comes in with 8 ranked wrestlers out of their 10 this weekend as well. But Penn, very good dual team, could make some noise at the national tournament as well from an individual standpoint. And this one, right off the bat, Peterson's 5-0 on the season. Hasn't wrestled too much compared to some of the other 125-pounders, but basically he has not stepped on any landmines. So by virtue of him not losing and not getting upset, I should say, he's climbed the rankings, and there's been a lot of chaos at 125 this year. Gallagher, only a freshman for Penn. He's in place of Ryan Miller, an accomplished wrestler at 125, a 2-time NCAA qualifier actually for Penn. But it's been Gallagher so far this year. He's in the top 33, 6-4. But this one obviously does favor Dean Peterson. And as we go through this, we're going to go through the ranked matchups a little bit more in depth, the ranked versus ranked matchups. And of course, there are 10 weight classes, but there are plenty of highly sought after matches that people are going to want to watch from an individual standpoint this weekend as well. So I would say Peterson, definitely the favorite right here. Should get Rutgers off to a good start on Saturday night at 133. Another interesting one right here. Dylan Shawver for the Scarlet Knights, ranked number 9 now, had a runner-up finish at the Midlands tournament to end the month of December. Love the way he's wrestling. He's up at 133 this year, 11-3 on the year for the sophomore. And again, he's a sophomore by virtue of his eligibility, so he still has 2 more years after this, by the way. This is a very interesting one right now with Penn's Michael Kolielko. He is number 11 in the country right now, 10-5, 79-23 for his career, 3-time NCAA qualifier. So on paper, based on the rankings right now, you look at 2 top 11 guys, borderline 2 top 10 guys. This weight class, just like 125, has been up and down, kind of a little bit wild outside of the top guys in the country. But this is a matchup where you got to say the toss-up bout, and Shawver's proven time and time again he can come up in a big moment. He can wrestle with anybody in the country, and so can Kolielko. So I'm looking forward to this one. This could be one where Penn gets on the board as well. I'd expect a decision either way here. You could see a 6-0 lead for the Scarlet Knights. If not, maybe a 3-3 dual meet through the first 2 matches right here. Kolielko is very, very dangerous, very tough. Shawver, again, great in his scrambles. He's not afraid to, put himself in bad situations and get out of them as well. He's a very active wrestler on his feet. He's really proven that as of late as well. Again, with that Midlands runner-up finish just a couple of weeks ago. So we'll head to 141 now. I like this one too. Mitch Moore, CJ Composto. Mitch Moore, one of the toughest dudes you will ever see. He's at his 3rd stop now, final year of eligibility here in college wrestling. Former Virginia Tech and Oklahoma NCAA qualifier, 4 times to the national tournament. Looking to get to the All-American podium for the first time. And hey, he's thinking bigger than that. He wants a national title. He's steadily climbing up the rankings. He's number 13 now, according to the latest Intermat rankings, 8-0 on the season. Composto, just a sophomore, 10-4. He's ranked at number 11, so 2 spots ahead of Mitch Moore. This one, again, another toss-up bout. Is Composto going to be able to get to his offense here? Mitch Moore is extremely sound defensively. Guys can barely score on him, let alone get to his legs, actually. So Mitch Moore is going to make this match one of those, I don't want to call it one of those dirtier matches, but he's going to make it very tough for Composto to score. He's going to put him in uncomfortable positions. Mitch Moore, when he's not shooting, which at least so far this season is pretty rare, he wants to get to that front head. He wants to attack your head, get you in those front headlock positions. He's a pinner. We saw it in Rutgers last time out. In Jersey Mike's arena. He's going to turn you. I think it was the match against Buffalo. He got a pin in the first period. He's just going to hit that whip over. He's going to pull you down with that front headlock. He's going to throw an underhook in, and he's going to throw you right to his back. So Campaso's got to be aware of that. He's more technically sound, I'd say, than most guys in the country, so he'll be watching for that. But Mitch Moore is not afraid to really attack the head and really wear you down throughout the course of a 7-minute match. Even if it is low scoring, he's going to dominate. Let's say it'll be a dominant 2-0 decision, hypothetically, for Mitch Moore. So, again, another toss-up bout right there. Could go either way. So we could be looking at maybe a 9-0 lead for the Scarlet Knights, or even as on the opposite of the spectrum, a 6-3 lead for Penn after 3 bouts. There's no ranked matchup at 149. Rutgers is going to play the what-if game right here. Jacob Butler was banged up. He's on one of their grad transfers. He was a guy that was in the rankings earlier in the season, but hasn't been wrestling the past month. Plus, he got hurt at the Black Knight Invitational, so he's been banged up a little bit. He was not expected to miss too much time. He could be back for this one, or maybe even Ryder on Sunday as well. So we could see him back in action. He's only 3-2 on the season, so hasn't wrestled too much. Michael Chetta was filling in for him as well. I think he had the medical forfeit out of the Midlands tournament as well. So it's going to be either one of those guys. Rutgers could be playing the chess match right here at 149 for Penn. Kelly Dunnigan is the projected starter at the moment. He's a sophomore, 9-3, not a ranked matchup right here. So I think either way, no matter who goes out there for either side, and plus Penn could come out of the woodwork with somebody else as well. That'll be another toss-up bout as we head to the midway point of the match. 157 is going to be very, very interesting. I like this one right here. Andrew Clark improving every single season for the Scarlet Knights. He's number 33 in the country right now, just 6-2, but his career record at one point was well below 500. It's now 40-39. Qualified for NCAA's last year at 20-17 record. He's at the right weight finally. Just like last year, he was at 157, so his second year at the weight class. He settled in very nicely. He's one of those ranked guys that you kind of have to watch out for. It can be one of those landmine guys throughout the season. He's not going to be right off the bat one of your top 15, top 10 guys, but he's going to steadily climb the rankings if he can just pick off some ranked guys. And he has an opportunity right here. Lucas Ravano, the projected starter for Penn, number 25 in the country, wrestling pretty well. The senior, 10-6 on the year. He was a qualifier just 2 years ago. I can't believe we're saying 2 years ago. It is 2024 now, but back in 2022 was a qualifier at 165. So again, another one of these toss-up bouts on paper. You got to look at Ravano here as the favorite just based on the rankings, match experience this year. But Clark can wrestle hard with pretty much anybody in the country as well. He's going to make it tough on you. So again, toss-up bout. And again, this on paper right now, this looks like a Rutgers route on paper, but also looks like Penn could have a 1 or maybe 2 match lead when we head to the intermission break. So maybe at worst for Penn, they're down, let's say 15-0 at the break. If Rutgers wins all 5 bouts, totally possible. But Penn could pick off guys at 133, 141 as well, 49 against toss-up bout. Don't know who's going to go out there, and certainly at 157. So we could be looking at Penn winning 2 or 3 bouts as well. I know I mentioned before Dean Peterson for Rutgers at 125. He's number 2 in the country for a reason. He's going to be the big favorite down at 125. But again, you got to watch out for Max Gallagher. He could really surprise you. So at the intermission break, we're looking at maybe a 3-2 lead in terms of the bout wins for the Scarlet Knights. I would say if we're going to go back and forth a little bit, and let's be real here, it can go either way. It could be 5-0 in one way or 5-0 in the other direction as well. But it's going to be very close, tit for tat right here. Back and forth we go. 165 is not a ranked matchup, at least on paper right now. Kaya Cement Jr., who is a junior, I should say, he's the projected starter for Penn as well. And then you look at 165, it's going to be Anthony White in and out of the rankings this year. At least on paper, Anthony White, based on his match experience, common opponents, he would be the favorite here. But again, Anthony White, a little bit unpredictable this season, 8-6 on the year, kind of has gone back and forth. Did qualify for NCAA's last year. So we're looking at him to get back there as well for the Scarlet Knights. But again, this is another toss-up bout, one where Penn could pick him off. And we're looking at a 3-3 split, maybe a 4-2 split in either direction as well once we get down to the upper weights now. Now this is where it gets really, really important for either side to win the matches you're supposed to wrestle or win the matches you're supposed to win, and maybe you have to pick off an upset here in one way, shape, or form. So 174 is one of our other ranked matchups here for this duel. Jackson Turley for the Scarlet Knights, 3-2, is looking better, looking like his old self again. He's only wrestled 5 matches. I'm not gonna say he's on a pitch count for the Scarlet Knights this year, but again, he has a lot of wear and tear on the body. He's been banged up a lot in his career. The former All-American did wrestle a career high in matches last year. Again, only 5 this year. He's a senior, but he's their best chance at 174, at least at the moment. You look at Shane Cartagena-Walsh. He could be a guy that emerges in this lineup or maybe get some spot duty for the Scarlet Knights as well. The freshman is 8-2. Probably going to be staying in red shirt, at least in my opinion, this year. But Turley, always dangerous. And as we saw towards the end of the first semester, when he is on and now he looks like he's healthy again, I mean, he can really score some points. He's a wild man once again, just like what we saw back in 2020 and 2021 for the Scarlet Knights at this weight class. And on the flip side, though, he's got a big-time matchup, Nick Incontrera for Penn. He's been a dog this year, 10-2, ranked 11th in the country, the two-time NCAA qualifier. Has not hit the All-American podium, could very well get there this year. He's been wrestling really, really well. And last time I was at Penn, they were wrestling Iowa back in December, and that home meet nearly picked off the Hawkeyes. He was key in that match as well. Maximus Hale, who I'll talk about here in a second, at 184, also big. It's going to be a big-time matchup, so let's get into that as well. Again, 174. Going to be a big toss-up here for the Scarlet Knights and the Quakers. And you look at 184, as I just mentioned, Brian Soldano for the Scarlet Knights, number 19, dropped a little bit. He's 7-3 on the season, the sophomore. Qualified for NCAAs last year. He's really solid. We know how flashy he can be. He's a wild man, but he's going to put himself in danger for better or worse. He's a pinner as well. He could turn this match on its head with a pin here, or heck, he could get pinned. He's got to be careful. Dangerous guy, as I mentioned before. Max Hale, he's 16th in the country, I should say, 11-3 on the season. He came up big. He had a pin against Iowa, as I mentioned, my last time out there in Philadelphia. He is really good, really strong, really stout defensively as well. He's not afraid to reattack as well. He has really good counter offense based on what I've seen from him in 14 matches this year. Looking forward to seeing what he can do against Soldano, who, again, invites you onto his legs. The fundamentals have been better for Soldano this year, but again, he invites guys on his legs, likes to counter off his back, and he's really good in those positions. So either Hale's going to get caught or he'll be safe and sound, and this could be a high-scoring affair in either direction. So again, another toss-up bout. Hale should be the favorite on paper, at least based on the rankings, but again, could go either way, as like this whole duel can pretty much go either way. 197 is our final ranked versus ranked matchup. John Poznansky for the Scarlet Knights, number 8 in the country. He's still undefeated, 6-0. And then you look at 197 for Penn, which you've seen Cole Urbis. He's bumped around. Martin Cosgrove, another guy in there as well that could be going at 197. So Penn has a lot of options at 197, but it looks like Cole Urbis is going to be the guy to go at 197. Again, they could play the chess match, maybe bump one of those guys up to heavyweight instead of having the traditional heavyweight John Stout up there. But Cole Urbis right now is the current guy for Penn, ranked in the top 33 according to Intermat, 25th in the country, 10-5 this season. He has over 70 wins in his career. He's a 3-time NCAA qualifier. Paz is definitely the favorite right here. This is one Rutgers should win. Urbis could make it difficult for him, or heck, if they throw out Cosgrove in there, he's a freshman. You never know. He's come up big in spots, was ranked at one point as well for Penn. But now with Urbis back in the starting line, I would expect Urbis to go, but this is one that Rutgers will definitely be the favorite in. And then, of course, at heavyweight, it's not a ranked matchup, though. We're looking at Jaroslav Slavakuski for the Scarlet Knights. He's ranked 7th at heavyweight. He's still undefeated. Haven't seen him in a while. Did not see him in the last 2 duels for the Scarlet Knights. Kind of getting him some rest. Did not wrestle at Midlands, but he should be good to go in the second semester. Not that he's banged up. Those were the options that presented Scott Goodale and company and themselves for what they wanted to do at heavyweight in those last couple of matches. John Stout is the projected heavyweight for Penn in this one. Senior, 9-4, really turning things around in his final campaign with the Quakers. Only 18-25 for his career, but looking much better this year. And again, the last time I was out in Philadelphia at the Palestra, he did not wrestle against Iowa. They bumped some guys around, so we will perhaps see Stout here. Now, when you get to heavyweight, this is probably where the match could be in hand for either team, or let's just say Penn wins a couple of those toss-up bouts more so than the Scarlet Knights. Then maybe it comes down to a guy like Slavakuski for the Scarlet Knights, big favorite on paper, needs bonus points for the win. I have seen Slavakuski wrestle in the Palestra when he was at Harvard just last year. Had a nice win for the Crimson last year in that Penn duel win. He's familiar with this place. He's a former Ivy League guy, familiar with their style of wrestling. And again, Slavakuski brings his own Belarusian style of wrestling as well. So Rutgers definitely the favorite right there. So I would say you're looking at at best, from an entertainment standpoint, you're looking at a 5-5 split. Then it comes down to who gets bonus points. And I think right now, bonus points do favor the Scarlet Knights. But for Penn to win this match, which they easily could, and again, Rutgers 5-1 as a dual team this year, looking much better. This could be the year, and I want to give props to the Intermat guys. They point out a good fact. This could be the year where Rutgers does finish simultaneously as a top 15 team, as a dual team, and also as an individual in terms of the individual scoring at the NCAA tournament. Could be one of those banner years for Rutgers, but Penn certainly capable of knocking off this Big Ten foe. If they get, I would say Penn does need that 6-4 split at minimum in order to win this duel. They have the home field or home mat advantage, I should say. Palestra is a very loud place, very intriguing and unique place to wrestle. This is going to be a very, very interesting duel. Don't want to miss this one. Again, catch this one at 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus on Saturday. Rutgers at Penn. I'll be on the call, of course, with Joe Torti. Looking forward to that one. We'll see you guys then again. And then again, Rutgers back in for action against Rider at home on 2 p.m. on Sunday on Big Ten Plus. I'll be back on the mic for that one with my guy, Matt Howe. But for now, this has been your On3 Wrestling preview, Rutgers and Penn. Make sure you don't miss it, and we'll see you next time.